Okay, folks, we've reached Pure Gold. We reached our Pure Gold topics. This is where we hit a few topics in recent news and just discuss them and see your thoughts about it if you want. Again, our email is
puregoldpg@yahoo.com.
so one of my first hot topics that one of our Pure Gold topics is the Cy Young Award. Now this year, a little bit of controversy because for the first time, I believe a 13 game winner, Felix Hernandez, won the Cy Young. That's the lowest amount of wins in any Cy Young award. Now, what are your thoughts, Dave, about that whole Cy Young award?
Honestly, like Joe said, it's the first time anybody under 16 wins because Tim Lincecum had 16 last year, and that was a bit controversial. There were guys with better records like Adam Wainwright, but this year Hernandez won 13-2. He's on one of the worst teams on the planet with the Seattle Mariners. They were expected to do good. I guess my real problem with the whole thing is the fact that if you look at it, he didn't pitch, and I was listening to WFAN the other day, and Mike Francesa was talking about this. He was saying how, okay, he did great. His numbers are great. Everything is awesome, but he didn't pitch in any pressurized situations. Everything was just like me and Joe pitching in a softball league, like a Sunday softball league. No pressure, no meaningful games at all. Whereas CC Sabathia pitched, he pitched excellent throughout the year. His numbers prove that. And then you look, he's pitching in a pennant race. He's pitching in important games all the time. Same thing with anybody else that you look at. David Price from the Rays, awesome young pitcher. I think that I have a problem. It's not make or break. It's not the worst thing ever. It's not a travesty of justice. But I don't think he should have won the Cy Young based on that because people say the record's unimportant. But I mean, 13-12. He had guys on his own team with a better record than him.
And I just think the flip side to that is that Cy Young is a controversial award because it's almost like a team award, the way they give it out. But this year, I think they might have gotten it right because I think of Cy Young and I think of strikeouts. I think of the WHIP, which is walks, hits per innings. And I also think of the run support. Now, if this Felix Hernandez was not getting the run support and he has a low WHIP, low ERA, and, basically doesn't have enough wins, I think that he can qualify for the Cy Young. So I think that you can look at it both ways. You can look at run support, and if the guy's not getting enough run support, but yet his ERA and his WHIP is down, I think that, why couldn't he win the Cy Young?
I guess my problem with it is I remember a couple years ago, Johan Santana with the Mets, before he got injured, he was a 16-7, didn't lose a game in the entire second half, pitched amazing, lowest ERA in the league, and he wasn't even in consideration for the Cy Young. And he had 16 wins. He 9 games over 500, and this guy's got 13-12. Again, his numbers bear out the fact that he's a great pitcher. But put him on a good team. Put him on the Yankees. Put him on the Rays. Put him in Boston. See what he does. That's what I would like to see. And I guess that's my real problem with it, is just no pressure, and the games were meaningless the entire season. But Joe has a good point as far as the run support goes because again that year Johan 16-7. He could have easily, and I say easily, been like 20-5, 22-5 because the Mets never scored runs for him. They still don't, but that's a side note. So, I guess we have slightly differing opinions on that. And as Joe said, you can look at it both ways. There's definitely no clear-cut answer in this case. Our next topic is Derek Jeter. Take it away, Joe.
Now, I don't think I think more the media has blown this out of proportion. I think that both sides are talking in private. But I just love it because anything to do with the Yankees, I definitely loathe and hate. So the fact that Derek Jeter still has not signed a contract yet really makes me happy. I'll be honest with you. I know that the Yankees are going after Cliff Lee. The same mentality as always with the Yankees. If you can't beat your competition, might as well buy them. So I'm hoping that Derek Jeter asks for a lot of money, and I hope that the Yankees give it to him because although he's not worth it, I just love to see the fact that, even El Capitan has its controversy. What do you think, Dave?
I agree, actually. I've been thinking about this. We both hate the Yankees. I think Joe slightly more than me. We're both Mets fans. We've both suffered many years. I don't remember the last winning World Series, and, my wife gets on my case about that all the time. But the fact of the matter is that we don't hate the Yankees so much as their fans, which is probably a lot of you out there who are going to be watching this. So we dislike a lot of the fans who don't know anything. And when it comes to Jeter, I honestly think that Jeter has always been overrated. I think he's good. He's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. There's no, Joe and I, we cannot deny that he's a Hall of Fame player. But I mean, his numbers didn't really pan out this year. This is one of his worst statistical seasons. And he won the Gold Glove, which is a joke. And then he goes. The Yankees are going to pay him the opening offer. I believe is 3 years, $45 million, which is 15 a year. I think that's just way too much money. Like Joe said, pay him 50 million. Who cares? But I've heard they might go up to 20 million, and I think it's insane. If you look at him, aside from what he's done in the Yankee lineage, and 5 World Series now, he's important to the franchise. He's the face of the franchise. That's all good. So the Yankees can overpay for him. But if you looked at it in a different team, I don't even think he's worth $7 million a year with his numbers. I think that he's older. His skills are eroding. He had a couple career years a couple years ago, and now it's just downhill. And I think that him being in his late 30s, wanting to get a contract until he's in his early 40s, like what A-Rod has, I just don't think there's any comparison between the two players. I think that Jeter's going to be overpaid no matter what, and I don't think he's worth it. Just trying to be objective, he's just not worth the money. And the Yankees are going to pay him because nobody else would. I mean, how much do you think he'd get on the open market? If the Yankees give him, let's say, $18 million, he's not worth $18 million.
No.
How much would let's say the Giants or someone someone like that, the Phillies? How much would they pay somebody like Jeter if they needed a shortstop and they were looking at an older, aging, not so talented player, meaning his skills are coming down?
Yeah, if he went to another team other than the Yankees, I don't think Jeter would get more than a 2-year to 3-year contract. Maybe about $9 million to $10 million a year, if that. Again, we're looking. You got to look a little bit beyond the on the field performances. This everyone talks about Derek Jeter is the face of the Yankees and will be for the next 30 to 40 years. I think that the Yankees will overpay for him, obviously, only because he is the icon. He will be the face. He will be the voice of the Yankees for at least 30 to 40 years from now. So that's why I think the Yankees will sign him. They'll get it done. But it's just great right now that, a contract still hasn't been finalized, and I think that he probably will get close to $20 million a year again. And then you got to also think about the fact that A-Rod is making an absurd amount of money, and he's on the decline of his career. So all that meshes in together, and just hopefully the Yankees screw it up and overpay for him.
Yeah. Even though A-Rod's skills are eroding, he's still much better offensively than Jeter. There's just no comparison. I mean, A-Rod finally got over the playoff hump last year. Again, another guy that we detest. But, he got over the playoff hump. He did pretty good. And, he finally is earning some of what he's worth, not all of it. But the fact is that, they're going to overpay. And so be it. We love it. Let it drag out to the day before spring training starts. Who cares? We detest the organization. We don't want them to win. At the beginning of the playoffs this year, my biggest fear was that we were going to have a repeat of last year's World Series, and thank the good Lord that didn't happen. But to see the Yankees and the Phillies in there again in the World Series, that would have been gut wrenching to me as a Mets fan. And we got a boring World Series with the Giants and the Rangers, but it was great because the Giants had never won a World Series in San Francisco, and then the Rangers had never even won a playoff series, and here they go to the World Series. So a little disappointed they lost. I actually want to piggyback off that real quick, talking about baseball before we get into football.